Hi, this is Tom at Culture Chap. So, if you're looking at this series, you probably watched the first few videos about prologues, backstage tours, and the open house. So, today we're talking about the epilogue, what happens after the show. Now, I prefer the term epilogue instead of talkback or meet the cast or anything like that. It seems to have it gives you more options. It seems to have a better sound. So, not all of your epilogues will be the same. Maybe an opening weekend, you still have the director, or you have the playwright, and Meet the Cast is later in the run. When we did the show I'm about to talk about, we had, I believe, 75 performances over about 5 months. It was in repertory. The epilogues were always different. They were mostly talkbacks or question and answer periods, and I'm not sure if they had the playwright there very often, maybe just the beginning. And it was kind of a lot. That opening weekend crowd can be intense. So if you call it an epilogue, you can just label it when you advertise it. Maybe it's at the beginning of your show. Our epilogue today is Meet the Cast. Our epilogue today is Meet two of the cast. Our epilogue today is Meet one of the leads of the cast and the playwright. Our epilogue today is question and answer period with the director and the costume designer. So they can all be different. Again, this is not a trick. It's just a way of getting people to come back. If they like the show, they'll check the calendar and they'll come back when they can see an epilogue with perhaps the director. Also, it's a good way to tell the cast about the way theater works. Probably tell the audience the way about theater works. If you wanted to talk to the director, they're not here. The director is only hired until opening night. This is the middle of the run. They're not around. If you want to talk to the director, you should take one of those epilogues then. Of course, we'll have another video about encouraging people not to all come to opening night and to spread it out and come in the middle of the run, the end of the run. The craziness about, opening night, I have to go. That's the only night I can go. That's a little crazy. We'll talk about that another time. But the epilogue can be anything you want. It can be a discussion. It can be just a presentation. It can be a presentation with sketches of the set when it was conceived, and then they have seen the reality because it's after the show. Design presentations, director talks, playwright talks. I don't encourage playwright talks because a lot of playwrights are really writers that don't want to talk to the audience in depth. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? It can get out of control easily. Later on in the series, we'll have a whole video about a fantastic paper written by Dr. Martine Key Green Rogers, who is the dean at Northwestern, about talkbacks with sensitive material and how to handle them, because those can get out of hand quite easily. The show I want to talk about, which had very successful talkbacks or epilogues, is called Vietgone by Quy Nguyen. It is the story of this couple who meet in Arkansas. It is in 1975. They've been evacuated from Vietnam after the fall of Saigon, and they meet at this camp for new immigrants in Arkansas. That's where they took them. And it's a fascinating play. It's hilarious. It's also very poignant. It's kind of got everything. It has a very particular way of speaking because obviously the leads are only speaking Vietnamese, but to you, they're speaking English. So they have a particular way of speaking, and they have other actors in there playing the assistants, the helpers, the people that are speaking English, the Americans, on the Arkansas Center, and how they hear them as they're hearing words. So it's very fun to the audience because as they're learning English words, what they know are very few words like bathroom, but what they hear is yippee-ki-yay, America, bathroom, left. It's hilarious, and you can see the progression of this couple, and one has a friend with him, and one has her mother with her, and how they learn English and how that changes. It's amazing and entertaining. The story is based on his parents, and why I believe maybe he shouldn't be in an epilogue is because it's not perfectly based on his parents. He wasn't there when they met, and it sort of ruins the magic of the play. Because in the play, the couple meet and instant chemistry, but one of them has a spouse in Vietnam, and one of them has a fiance, and they can't find out whether they're still alive. There has been no response. There has been no way to find them, to contact them, to call them. It's just not working. The Americans are helping them, but they're getting no response. So one doesn't know if they're engaged, and one doesn't know if they're still married or they're, have a dead spouse. It's tough. It's tough. It's also hilarious. The mother is encouraging the daughter. The friend is encouraging the other person. It's a lot happens. And that's the part where I don't want the people to ask the playwright every single detail, because it takes apart the play too much. Asking the actors who are used to these questions, that's different, because it's more about their pace and talking about some of the fictional stuff and some not. Now, I believe the epilogues were fantastic for this show because it was so fascinating. And the style of the show, with its language, with its jumping around, with its visions of America sort of through a cartoon lens sometimes and through some strange visuals and Route 66, it's all very entertaining and very touching. There's a lot going on. It's a wonderful show. I wish it had more epilogues, but who knew how popular they'd be. Epilogues are a good way to engage your audience, to ask your audience questions about what they want to see, how much they enjoyed it, and this gives you a clue on how to program your season next, which I think is very important. Again, we'll talk more about epilogues. Again, some talkbacks with audiences can get heated, and we don't want that. We want them to ask more questions and not keep throwing hard opinions at the things we're trying to explain to them, educate them on, storytell about. Once an epilogue or a talkback goes sour with angry people, it's pretty worthless. It's not getting out anyone's point. No one's learning, and it hurts your theater. So all of these things, the prologues, the epilogues, they all need a good moderator. Not just someone who can engage with people and tell a good story, but someone who can handle and deflect some of the weird stuff that's going to come at you. It doesn't always happen. I remember it happening anytime with this show. They mostly wanted to know what was real and what was fiction, which was great. And they wanted to know what the final outcome of these missing people were, which, was rather sad in the end. So I'm going to link the play, which is also on Audible, down below. I'm going to show you some pictures. It's beautiful. Think about this for your theater. I think the more time you can engage with your patrons, the better. And epilogues are a great thing. I prefer the words epilogue and prologue. When you announce these things, you can say, please come to our prologue before the show. It's 20 minutes. Please come to our epilogue after the show. It's 20 minutes. It's a half an hour. And then you get the interested people, not just people wandering around falling into it. I think you should make it casual. Often these things are done in the theater, in the seats they just sat in, but why not do it in the lobby? So anyone who was not quite interested, if they're just coming out of the bathroom after they're leaving and they hear these things happening in the lobby, they might stick around. And then you get a client, a patron, who is more interested in your theater because you do these things. Maybe they didn't know, maybe they had no interest until they were wandering around afterwards. And now they become dedicated to you because you are doing these extra things that are helping theater stay alive, stay open, stay relevant. All right. Next time we're going to talk about backstage tours, which I think everyone should do. All right. Like and subscribe. Share with a friend. All right. Talk to you again. Thanks.